Hi and welcome to Revere TV News. I'm Rick Frenny.
And I'm Debbie Pesca, here to give you the latest update for what's new around the city. This past weekend brought more traffic than usual around Revere thanks to the closing of the Winthrop Ave Bridge that connects Revere Beach Parkway over the commuter rail train tracks. This bridge is part of a particularly busy intersection commonly used as a main outlet to Revere Beach and the Beachmont area. Cars approaching the bridge were detoured through Bell Circle, and the warm weather may have added to the traffic woes because of the bridge's prior access to the beach area. The closing of the bridge was scheduled and will happen again this upcoming weekend. Limited lane travel is expected through the rest of the week, but at 8 p.m. on Friday, June 5th, it will remain closed again through 5 a.m. on June 8th. After June 8th, 2 lanes in both directions will be open for travel as construction continues, but there will be no further restrictions through the summer. The bridge will be closed again on weekends in November for construction to finish.
The recent construction brought a catastrophe with it. An excavator fell off the Winthrop Ave Bridge during construction over the weekend. You'll see a picture of the accident on the screen, courtesy of the Revere Fire Department. The operator of the machine suffered minor injuries and was transferred to a hospital by the construction company before emergency crews showed up. Police were on the scene and OSHA was notified. This caused delays in the planned construction for the weekend.
As our newest election update, Brian Arrigo has announced his candidacy for the upcoming mayoral election. Arrigo is currently a city councilor at large, which he will not be seeking to be seated as again. Cheryl Whitridge, who has previously run for city council in years past, is also now in the running for mayor. This election will be happening this upcoming November, so be aware of the campaigns of all city candidates ramping up this season. Revere TV will continue with election updates throughout the process and the rest of the year.
Revere High School will be welcoming a new athletic director now that current AD Sean Hart is moving to Burlington to work closer to home. Frank Shea will be the new athletic director for RHS at the start of the next school year. He is currently a teacher at the Rumney Marsh Academy, but has a sports background as a coach at Savio and Masconomet. He led Savio basketball, where he also went to high school, to the finals at TD Garden when he coached there. Shea is stepping into Revere sports at one of its strongest times in history. He will be here for the opening of the new Harry Delarusso Stadium and at the brink of success with the girls' basketball and softball teams.
Revere Public Schools is also appointing Danielle McCaba as the new assistant superintendent as Dr. Diane Kelly moves up from assistant superintendent to superintendent at the end of this year. Kelly is taking Dr. Dakin's seat and McCaba is filling Kelly's current seat. McCaba was appointed by Diane Kelly, and that was approved by the school committee. McCaba started in the Revere school system as a biology teacher in 1998. She was then a dean at the high school, later the assistant principal, and most recently the principal of the Garfield School as of 2012. McCaba will officially be the assistant superintendent when Kelly takes the superintendent's seat.
With so many new faces and new positions, there still remains some question over some familiar faces that could possibly be leaving us. Revere's former mayor, Tom Ambrosino, is one of 2 finalists in consideration for a major position in Chelsea. The position of Chelsea city manager has been open since the former manager, Jay Ash, left to work for our governor, Charlie Baker, in January. Ambrosino has worked closely with Ash in the past on joint projects between Revere and Chelsea when he was mayor. Ambrosino will not comment on his potential for this position out of respect for the hiring process. A final decision for this position is likely at the start of this summer.
In school committee news and the recent public scandal with committee member Donna Wood-Pruitt, it is unsure of whether or not she will be resigning just yet. School committee members, along with Mayor Dan Rizzo, have requested her resignation in light of recent allegations, but Pruitt is refusing to commit to resigning until after her court date. Pruitt was caught selling diabetes medication to an undercover police officer last month. Rizzo believes her resignation may be appropriate in light and recognition of our city and state's recent influx in drug issues.
On that issue, Revere is one of many cities trying to take hold of opiate drug use that is leaving the state with a much higher death toll than in past years. 2 city councils are making it their priority to deal with the heroin overdose epidemic that has recently been affecting the state as a whole and Revere. Councilwoman Jessica Giannino and Councilman Brian Arrigo have banded together to make sure we are able to educate the public. Arrigo hopes that a new working group between Governor Baker and Attorney General Maura Haley will create funds to suppress the issue statewide. Other councils have attended regional meetings to discuss any possible solutions. Already, Revere is the first city in the nation that allows first responders to use the drug Narcan to reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. Our Fire Chief, Gene Doherty, also follows up with the people saved by this drug with information on how to get help for drug abuse. Taking this idea initially from the Weymouth Fire Department, Doherty believes this could be key in a surviving addict's recovery. This follow-up initiative is headed and supervised by Kim Hanton, who is a supervisor of addiction services at North Suffolk Mental Health. In the last 14 months, there have been 137 Narcan saves. Although this drug can save people from overdosing, it's not a solution to the problem. Our law enforcement and city councils believe education is the answer.
With summer approaching quickly, many Revere residents may be venturing to the beach pretty soon. As of now, and for the past few years, it has become hard to miss the fenced-off grassy areas near the beach wall that have actually started to span the border of the beach. These blocked-off areas of sand and grass are to protect piping plovers, which are endangered birds now protected by our federal government. Legislation makes it illegal to harm the birds or its eggs. Fencing it is mandatory to be put up around where these birds nest to prevent these illegal acts. However, Revere residents and other beachgoers are growing more and more frustrated as more areas of the beach are blocked off for these plovers. What used to be fenced in just near the end of the beach by the Point of Pines has now spanned the entire beach. Ward 3 City Councilor Arthur Guanasso is urging Revere residents to reach out to the state and complain. Guanasso believes that Revere Beach should be more for our people. Although some residents may side with the environmentalist point of view at first, more Revere residents have become angry at the fact that these piping plovers have begun to take over our entire beach.
The Rumney Marsh Aspirers are a group of students at the Rumney Marsh Academy who have done exceptionally well academically over their 3 years of middle school. An Aspirers ceremony was held to honor these students at the Rumney Marsh Academy last week. In fact, Debbie was there with some Revere TV equipment to film the event, and here's a little of what she brought back to Revere TV to show us.
At this time, we're going to present the Aspirers with their official certificate and induction ceremony. The Aspirers are going to take the Aspirers Pledge. I will demonstrate the ideal qualities of learning. I will strive for excellence in all that I encounter. I will persevere in my goals and constantly inquire to attain growth in knowledge. Attain growth in knowledge. I will aspire to be respectful to others. Responsible for my actions. And prepared to serve the needs of society. At this time, Dr. Rockwood is going to present each aspirer with their official certificate, and we'd like to officially congratulate you. Melissa Avdich. Heidi Varencios. Catherine Kalo. Stephanie Carvalho. Layla Cheshik. Emily DiGiulio. Kaylee Everton. And I want to thank each and every one of the aspirers. You guys are amazing on a daily basis, but especially today. And you should all be very proud. I know we are of all of you. Thank you.
We are now going to take a short break. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Judy Van Koyman, founder and president of a grassroots 501c3 nonprofit, Those Who Can for Those in Need. I started this in memory of my husband Van after losing him to cancer in 2007. I went through some what I call bumps in my life and couldn't find any proper resources to help me. So I wanted to bring resources to people. The categories that we help with are elderly, losing a loved one, children, low income, and homeless issues. And the organizations are from the Boston and North Shore area.
Hi, I'm Vin Recchia, a board member. Our organization holds 2 major events each year. Our resource fair will be held this year on September 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Robert DeLeo Senior Center in Winthrop. All of our service partners will be there with informational booths. There will also be live music, food, and lots of activities for children. Our annual fundraiser in the spring is called Uplift Yourself with Laughter. It is a comedy event with many great raffle prizes. To learn more about our organization or to sign up for our newsletter, you can find us at twctin.org, or you can contact our President Judy at 617-462-5719 or Judy, Judie, at twctin.org.
Hello and welcome back to Revere TV News. Now, Morris is one of our longtime community members here at Revere TV. He's an active member of the Rossetti Cowan Senior Center, and you'll frequently see him hosting events for us around the city. He is an extreme supporter of the United States veterans, especially because he is a veteran himself. On that note, Morris began his own show here at Revere TV last year called the Revere Veterans and Community. This is a talk show that Morris hosts to highlight veterans in Revere. Morris will say time and time again that a veteran who serves in our United States Armed Forces is a person to be admired, but there are also people he likes to call veterans of the community. He invites all kinds of people from around Revere and our community to sit down and talk about what they do for others. It's safe to say that Morris is one of Revere TV's most active community members. He is, in a very short time, the Revere Veterans and Community, produced by Revere TV in partnership with Revere Veterans Services. We are proud to announce that he has officially recorded his 200th episode. In this episode, he has special guest Len Sandler, author of a book about a fallen veteran, and our mayor, Dan Rizzo. Take a look at this monumental episode filmed at Revere TV last week.
Hello, Revere, and welcome to the Revere Veterans and Community Show. This is our bicentennial show, and we have 2 great guests here. On my left is Len Sandler. Len, thank you for coming, who wrote the book, I'll See You on the High Ground.
My pleasure.
That's the story of Jared C. Monty, and you will do the talking on that. And of course, on his left is Mayor Dan Rizzo. Your Honor, it's a pleasure to see you.
It's always a pleasure.
And I want to thank you for what you do for our city and what you do for our veterans. But Len, we're here to talk about Mr. Monty's son, Jared, so you wrote the book, you take over.
Well, Paul Monty and I go way back. We met in elementary school when we were 9 years old. We went to high school together, and like with a lot of friends, we went our separate ways. 50 years went by, and one day I called Paul from out of the blue. I didn't even know if he would remember me. And I said, Paul, I know the story of your son, and I'd like to tell that story. Do you remember me? He said, of course I do. And then he said, I trust you with my son's story. When can we get going? We got started. I thank my wife too, because I said to her, I'm going to spend a year and a half working full-time on a book. It means there'll be no money coming in. I won't have a job. Is that okay with you? and she supported me as well. She said, go for it. She knew it was important to me.
And by the way, Mr. Mayor, you also met Mr. Paul Monti. Tell us a little about how you did.
Well, I mean, it's obviously always, it's a tragedy when any life is lost in combat, and it's as we just talked about this past Memorial Day. It's obviously the poor soldier or sailor or airman that's killed in action. They obviously have made the ultimate sacrifice, but then it's the families that are left to bear the brunt of all of those memories. That empty seat at the dinner table, the holidays and birthdays that pass. So, but he's a tremendous man that really seems to be dedicating his life to honor veterans and make people aware of sacrifices that have been made since the inception of this country, like the one his son made. So really a remarkable man.
Right, and this is a great book, by the way. Are you going to be writing future books about other things, if I may ask you?
I don't know. This one was very special to me. I don't know if I'd get that kind of inspiration again.
Well, you certainly got it on that book.
It must have been a real experience to work with Paul Monti, and having to recall everything that, his son, had to go through and everything. What was that like, going through the process and putting the book together? It must have been, at times, very, very difficult.
Well, it was difficult for a lot of people, Your Honor. 8 years had gone by since Jared's death. He was killed on a mountain in Afghanistan on June 21st, 2006. I spoke to most of the members of Paul's family, and Paul is one of 13 children. Most of the members of Jared's mother, Janet's family. Janet's one of 11 children. So 24 children, well over 100 cousins. A lot of people to talk to, and I didn't hear a bad word about Jared. The most difficult part was talking to the guys who were there on the mountain with him. He was in a 16-man patrol. Some of them had never talked to anyone about what happened that night. And I was really pleased when they said, I've never said this, I haven't been able to talk about it, but I'll talk to you about it. And that meant an awful lot to me. It's a harrowing experience when you're facing death. And each and every one of those 16 people thought they were going to die that night on the mountain. They were surrounded by 50 to 60 Taliban. They were running low on ammunition. Jared had called in for air support. They had no idea how long air support would take. What Jared did is sacrifice his own life, not just for Brian Bradbury, who was the PFC, who was out in no man's land with a severed arm, shooting his automatic weapon until he ran out of ammunition. He did it not just for Brian, but for all the others too. Jared went out and drew enemy fire, and he did it 3 times. Fortunately, shortly after that, support did arrive. The other members were saved. I really didn't understand that, because in the Medal of Honor ceremony and all the publications, they talk about Jared simply trying to save Bradbury's life. But the other members of the patrol started to talk to me about how Jared saved their life too. And that's part of this story that never really came out. He sacrificed himself for all of them. Consequently, some of them have named their children after Jared. And there's not a man there who hasn't said, I'll remember him for the rest of my life. He had a profound impact on my life.
Mr. Mayor, take a couple to wrap it up, and then you do the same, Lenny. Well, I want to thank you both again for coming. It's an honor to have you both here on our bicentennial show, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah, and congratulations, by the way. It's hard to believe, Morris, 200 shows. I mean,
Yep.
that's incredible. That's incredible. In fact, I think Rob Dunbar was saying that you had days where you had 4 shows in one day.
Right, I'm sure to be David Letterman, who just retired.
You're going to be challenging the Oprah networks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, but I mean, this, local access cable really is a great tool to get the word out.
We're going to take one last short break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Eleanor Vieira, and I am chairperson of the Revere Beautification Committee. We are a volunteer group, and our mission is to improve the image of the city of Revere through an aggressive beautification and cleanup program. In order to achieve this goal, we have accomplished many things, including the installation of more than 100 litter barrels, the planting and maintenance of flower beds along Revere Beach, and the overseeing of the beautification of Squire Road, just to name a few. We are continuing our effort to keep Revere beautiful. In the future, we plan to expand the Adopt an Island program, work with the city businesses to keep their sidewalks clean, beautify Bell and Butler circles, and more. The Revere Beautification works closely with Dan Rizzo and the Department of Conservation and Recreation. We meet with the mayor and the DCR to discuss and rectify the requests called into our hotline. We encourage you to call our hotline with any reports of things not looking right in Revere. For instance, such as graffiti, litter, abandoned vehicles, and overgrown grass. Our hotline number is 781-485-2770. All calls remain anonymous. Help us keep Revere clean and beautiful.
Hi, and welcome back to Revere TV News. Now, following up on Morris's admiration for our veterans, he ventured up to Wakefield to host a Memorial Day event for us last week. This event honored veterans around the area, including a few from Revere. Take a look at some of Morris's coverage of the ceremony.
Hi, folks. We've been invited to the Wakefield Memorial High School for Memorial Day service. The 5 of us will be going. Yours truly, Morris, Nick Jacoby, Charlie Mackin, Eileen Murillo, and Sal Santaro. Now let's take a look and watch the show.
Good morning and happy Memorial Day, Wakefield Memorial High School. As Mr. Larry O'Leary always says, it's a great day to be a Wakefield warrior, and in particular on days like today, on occasions like today. We want to welcome our invited guests, students, faculty, and administration. Today, let us not forget and be mindful of the M in Wakefield Memorial High School, a dedication to those men and women who dedicated their lives to uphold the freedoms and liberties we enjoy each day. We have heard the saying, freedom is not free. Well, Abraham Lincoln once said, freedom is the last best hope of earth. Today, we are truly humbled and honored to welcome veterans from all branches of the armed forces. They have served our nation from World War II to the current conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as in various locations in the United States and around the world. Be mindful of their courage, integrity, and selflessness. Be mindful and listen as your classmates explain America's history and our symbols of freedom and remembrance. Be mindful of who the real heroes and warriors are in our lives, because they are sitting right in front of you. As we say, they are freedom strong. I do want to take this moment to remember the 4 World War II veterans who have attended the assembly and are not with us today. Mrs. Betty Hayter, Mr. Bernie Doucette, Mr. Roberts, and Mrs. Maureen Burgess's father, as well as 2 other World War II veterans who have been honored last year, J.J. Smith and Mr. Arthur Funai. During his farewell speech in 1989, Ron Reagan told a story of a refugee from Vietnam calling out from his small boat as he was trying to flee Vietnam to come to America. And a ship went by, and he's sitting in his little boat, waving furiously and screaming, "Hello, American sailor. Hello, freedom man." We always be mindful of America's freedom. As you enjoy the long weekend ahead with family and friends, stop and think of those who have given their lives the ultimate sacrifice. Stop and thank those who have served and continue to serve each day. As singer-songwriter Lee Greenwood sang, "I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men and women who died, who gave that right to me. Happy Memorial Day, Wakefield Warriors. Congratulations, class of 2015. And thank you, veteran warriors.
As always, the City of Revere held its own Memorial Day services in front of the American Legion Hall on Broadway to honor our fallen veterans. This year's ceremony featured Superintendent of Chelsea Soldiers Home, Cheryl Pope, a reading from the mayor, the playing of taps, and the citation of the names of fallen Revere veterans from the Revolutionary through the Gulf War. Revere TV was there to cover the event, and here's some of what we have from that day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, I would like to have all our veterans please stand up to be recognized. Thank you for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the 2015 Revere Memorial Services. The host veterans organization this year is the VFW Post 4524 Matola Post in cooperation with the Revere Allied Veterans Council. As we do every year, we continue to remind our children and our community, both young and old, the significance of Memorial Day. This year is the 40th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War. Over 58,000 men and women, 7 from Revere, made the ultimate sacrifice.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the lands of Texas, lakes to Thames, from Detroit down to Houston, from New York to LA, there's pride in every American, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I can't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me, and I'll proudly stand up next to you and defend her still today. There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
In upcoming events, I am happy to announce that the Little Ricky Foundation, Mayor Dan Rizzo, and Revere Parks and Recreation are hosting a Kids of All Abilities soccer game. This will happen on Wednesday, June 10th at the RHS Turf Field from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Enjoy a night of great competition under the lights while hanging out with friends. Pre-game festivities will include popcorn, cotton candy, snow cones, and a barbecue. This is all free, by the way. For more information on the event, you can visit www.littlericky.vpweb.com. Registration ends Friday, June 5th. So if you'd like to sign up, you can contact me at 781-704-1300 or by email at rickyfrenny@msn.com. Again, the sign-up date is Friday, June 5th. Last chance to register to play. Should be a wonderful time, Deb, next week.
Oh, it sounds great. I might be there for those pre-game activities.
Yeah, they're free.
Revere's annual 5K Walk or Run Road Race is being held on Saturday, June 13th, beginning at 9 a.m. at the Wayland School. Pre-registration costs $20, while it will be $25 the day of the race. Revere Public Schools and Immaculate Conception students can register for a reduced cost of $5. This race is organized by Julie DeMauro and by Dr. Anne-Marie Costa. If you would like to learn more about the race or register beforehand, you may go to the mayor's office to do so, or at the Revere Recreation Center on June 12th from 5 to 7 p.m. If you have already registered, race shirts and bib numbers will be available for pickup at Revere Rec on Friday, June 12th.
Here is a very important reminder that Revere High School graduation is happening tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the new Harry Delarusso Stadium. Students will walk from RHS to the stadium. as they always have when graduation was previously held outdoors. If you cannot make it to the graduation tomorrow night and would like to watch from home, Revere TV will be showing live coverage on Channel 8 and streaming live coverage on our YouTube page. You will also be able to catch it throughout the next month, airing on Revere TV Channel 8. Be sure to check it out, and congratulations to the class of 2015.
Absolutely. Congratulations to the class of 2015. It's so exciting that we'll be covering it live and that it'll be at the new stadium. That's all we have for Revere TV News tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Debbie Pesca.
And I'm Rick Frenny. Be well and have a pleasant tomorrow.